I need you to fall on your face. So here's the permission slip to go fall on your face. Go do that, because that is success, and we need to reframe.
My guest today is Jessica Cow, one of the most prominent thought leaders and experts in marketing operations, automation, and growth marketing. And she has been doing this for over a decade. She is the expert in all things Marketo, an OG Marketo champion, and someone who has built and scaled large teams. What makes Jessica so special is her ability to take the most technical jargon and translate it into real business language. She has the awards to prove it. But here's what makes this episode different. Jessica always has her finger on the pulse of what's new, what's next, and what's coming. And trust me, we get into it in this episode. We talk about why teams are still not using these tools enough. We talk about how what is old is new again. In the age of AI, they are more critical than ever. We talk about why AI does not actually make you faster in B2B marketing, but how it's changing. And one of my favorite things we discuss is you need a permission slip to start tinkering. This one is going to hit different. Let's get into it. This is Thinking with AI. Jessica, welcome to Thinking with AI.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited that you're here today. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I feel like we're having the wrong conversation about AI and marketing right now. Everyone is focused on prompts, productivity, tools, all of that. But the more I'm talking to teams, especially marketers, the more I'm seeing something bigger is happening underneath. AI is starting to break the way like go-to-market has worked, right, for the last decade. And most teams are still running playbooks that were built for a very different time. So I'm so excited to dig into this with you. So to start, I would love to hear from you. How has AI shaped the way you think about go-to-market, not just how you execute, but how you conceive it?
How AI is changing everything. I mean, it's like, someone dropped a grenade and like we have to and it's almost like, right, it's a two-sided coin, which is it is absolutely an opportunity. It's absolutely an opportunity to force us to actually take a step back and ask the questions that we should already be doing, which is, wait a minute. What are we actually solving for? It's a permission slip that gives us the ability to just like blow it all up and reimagine what go-to-market and marketing motions and what the playbook of the future marketer, which is we're here today, what that is. Because right, we're so busy like running around. I've been a marketer for 15 years, supporting marketing for so long, where we just kind of do the thing. The playbook's the same. We do the email, we do the webinars, we go to the trade show, we upload the lists, we do all the things, we do campaigns, and we're so busy running around like, gee, if I had time, you would pause and stop and think, well, guess what? You're never going to do it if you're going to wait for the time to do it. Now, it's like AI is, you better do it or you're going to get left behind. It's a forcing function. It's like you're forced to evolve. I don't know which natural evolution book we need to be talking about, right? But it's almost like, in the environment, we are forced to evolve. And guess what? Our environment's changing. And it challenges us and puts the bar here. And it allows us to really push ourselves in a good way to kind of relook at all of our assumptions and really step back. Like, what are the problem that we're solving for? I just got off another webinar earlier today, and someone's like, well, how do we reimagine, lead quality? I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you think about all the things that we were doing before, right, around surfacing the best leads, looking for signals, looking for hand raise. Why do we have a contact us form? Why do we have all of these doors? Why do we have forms? Why do we have metrics around forms, right? Whether you're B2B or B2C or wherever, we have forms, we have signups. We're trying to look for an indication. We're trying to look for a hand raiser. But in the age of AI, does that look different? It may or may not. It may be a hybrid. It may be, different steps, multiple steps that will get us to where the future is. But if we're looking for lead quality, we want to increase lead quality. Why? So that we can be smarter about what we're doing. Is there a different way to be smart about what we're doing? Right? So it just allows us, and right, Adobe's mantra about allows us to really, about creativity and about empowering creators. And I'm like, overjoyed and over the moon to be at Adobe, having been a customer for 15 years and, all the things. But if you think about it, AI allows us to really lean into being more human and tap into our creativity and problem solving. And I think that's such a powerful thing, right? As we march forward into where we're going with AI, right? We're such a strong believer here culturally as a company that we are human, right? This is human led. This is AI is about here enhancing us. And we talk about creativity, and we are a creative company. It is in our DNA, but there are many, many dimensions of creativity. And that includes that really creative problem solving. And I think it's going to push us, to be even better and evolve.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I love your energy. It is unmatched. We're going to get into the OG Marketo champion later in the episode. But you said a couple things that, are interesting. I think, yes, the human touch, the creativity piece. I guess, like, right now, right where you're at today, what feels the most different and what is like top of mind for you in terms of like go to market and how you're using AI?
What feels the most different, right? That like and when I say we, as in humans on this planet, what feels the most different, right? To no surprise, people have talked about this, is the speed of change, right? And we're a human. Humans feel uneasy around change. And so it's almost like, I don't know if you can tell, I'm a yoga teacher, so I bring in a lot of yogic principles into go to market, into like my
I
career
love it.
lead teams. Right. So it's like, okay, what is the anchor? What is the North Star that we can lock into? And I always used to do this when I led teams. We'll go to market teams, marketing operations teams, tech teams, you name it, right? Like, because I specialize in digital transformation. My career is built on digital transformations. Digital transformations. I know it's blurry, but like my Adobe awards are all around, like it's for transformations where it's usually about me coming in, dropping a grade and be like, look, people, we're going to go make some change and it's going to be amazing and it's scary and it's hard. And I always have my team focus on the North Star vision. We are in a boat out in the ocean and it is getting like tossed and turned. And I'm like, look, there's the moon. It doesn't move. The stars don't move. That is literally the North Star. What is the North Star? And focus on that. And I think we are in the boat of AI. There's a new model. There's this. There's all these tools. What do we do? I mean, we're coming out with agents, all the things in go to market, right? And I was inspired by we had our internal Adobe AI day yesterday, right? Amazing. And the key theme, the synthesis of the theme that I landed on was practice over perfection, right? Is you just got to try. You just got to take one step. I think part of it, when there's so much change, right? Okay, change is constant, but that does not help me overcome the fear. It does not help me overcome the fear of, oh my God, what do? I have to pick the perfect tool. I have to pick the perfect problem. And this is, again, permission slip. That's going to be the theme today, Susan.
I love it.
It's going to be about where's the permission slip? It's going to be a permission slip to the permission to just try. Mm-hmm. What is the KPI or metric of success? Did you try something? Mm-hmm. Right? So, again, I got the question today, as I do when I go and I talk to, all the companies that come in, in the exec briefings. Question comes in, hey, what's the workflow I should automate? What's the tool should I use? I'm like, hey, we're all asking the wrong question. It's like, yes, agents are going to be here. Are you going to buy or are you going to build? Yes. Are you going to have marketers like prompt and do this? And yes, right? It's to try something because you will learn. We are in a time of experimentation. There is no perfect tool. There is no perfect use case. I just need you to try. I will tell you, personal fun fact. I signed up for my first marathon yesterday and I do not like running. I've run 4 half marathons.
So proud of you.
Like right? But like, and we could talk about that on a different podcast. But it was so much more attainable when it's all about, right? It's just You just put one foot in front of the other, and that's all you got to do. So attainable. You just got to pick up a tool and try something. And here's your permission slip to try something and fail. Because let me tell you something. You will try something and it won't be perfect because that's what experiments are about. I have a PhD from cancer biology in the lab, and I can tell you that most of my experiments failed. And when it did work, that was when I collected all the data. And 8 years later, I published a paper. Moral of the story, PhDs have very bad ROI. Hopefully, you're not any PhDs out there when you're trying to do like go to market. You don't need a PhD and go to market. Okay? Okay.
No, I absolutely love this. I love the candidness. I think you're spot on. I think it's less about tools. I completely agree with you, and I think it's more so just start trying usability, right? Just start trying, doing things and learn, right? And see, can this actually help me so I can spend more time in those human moments, like you mentioned, right? I think something for me working with our amazing community that I've been thinking about is I want to lean in more in those relationships. So I want to think of ways of using like AI to pull signals from the community to help me have like better conversations with like our community, with our champions, right? Understanding what's top of mind for them. So I love that you brought that up. And I think, yes, it's less about ROI right now and more so on like usability. Are people actually leaving the fear behind and just doing it?
And this is where I've been a yoga teacher for longer than I have been doing MOPS and MarTech, which means that's a really long time. Because, especially for the community out there, I've been doing this for a really, really long.
Yeah.
And I teach inversions, I teach headstands, I teach handstands, and it's literally the same thing. I'm like, look, people don't try. Like, first of all, the success, the KPI metric is this, to just show up on your mat. That's success. The second thing is when I'm teaching inversions and being upside down, right? I mean, we're all adults. Like, it is 6 inches. Your head is 6 inches from the ground, okay? It's here, I gave you pillows. Here, have all the pillows, but you will be surprised. In the 15 years that I've been teaching yoga, the amount of fear, right? Because we're afraid of falling on our face. I mean, literally, I'm trying to get a class of adults, of people who are literally afraid of falling on their face because it's this fear. I'm like, actually, I need you to fall on your face 1,000 times, maybe 10,000 times. And at some point, you will learn where the balance point is. But part of the practice, part of the yoga practice, part of this AI practice is I need you to fall on your face. So here's the permission slip to go fall on your face. Go do that because that is success. And we need to reframe, especially when go to market. We've been conditioned, right, in our go to market playbook ways. We're like, okay, we're investing. We got to make sure we get the ROI. In the initial start of all of this I saw a lot. I'm seeing less of it now, but in the beginning, I saw a lot of, okay, we're going to do this, human way, and then we're going to do this AI way, and then we're going to measure, how many registrations we got on this event. Or I'm like, that's not the right question at all, right? Because we're not talking about like, well, what can humans do? What can AI do? And then make them compete. It's what are we going to do different? How are we going to reimagine what we're doing, how we're doing, why we're doing the things, stepping back into what problem is that we're going to solve for, all the same time as buyers, people, your customers, our customers' behavior is changing, right? I mean, can you imagine like 3 years ago, we weren't like everyone wasn't prompting. Now everyone's
I
prompting,
know.
right?
Yeah.
But now we have to like be strategic about prompting, right? I gave this anecdote earlier. It's some talk. I've given so many talks I can't remember. I gave this anecdote which was like, okay, well, we can prompt, but is that efficient? Right? Do we prompt it like 5 different ways? But it's a skill. Using AI is a skill. Well, you don't ever show up and expect to be a concert pianist on day one. It takes practice. I was a piano major, by the way.
I love it. Not
I still,
surprised. You have many talents. A woman of many talents.
right? I mean, I got a competitive streak, but like, you got to show up and practice. Why is this
Yeah.
any different? Why is this any
Yeah.
different? Right?
Yeah. I guess question for you on that. Okay, this idea of practice, just try it. We have to learn, we have to experiment, we have to fail. But what would you say is the most important thing that teams are still ignoring? in the go-to-market world when it comes to AI?
I think there's two things. There's two train of thoughts, and you
Okay.
can decide which one you want, or both. So I had a marketing leader. I was talking to a marketing leader, and I've gotten this question many times. It's like, we can do so many things with AI. I don't know which to go after. What should we do? Which tool should we use? How should we use it? Like, I'm just like, my mantra for 2026 is what's old is new. What's borrowed is blue. However that saying goes, what's old is new. What's old is new. And from having been doing MarTech and marketing ops for so long, right? What does that mean? Like, we basically implement technology and get that to drive and fuel your business. The same thing applies before AI and now with AI, and it's actually more so than ever. So we don't get into AI and agentic chaos, which is what problem are you solving for? AI is not going to answer that for you. It's not going to answer what your company identity is. It's not going to answer like what you should do right now, what's your strategy, right? The same thing that I've been saying for 30 years is garbage in, garbage out. Well, guess where the garbage comes from, or what the shiny diamond should be? It comes from people. It comes from humans. It comes from us, right? And so I get the question, well, which is your favorite tool? I'm like, it's like picking my favorite children. I don't have favorite children. They ask me all the time. No, honey, your brother is not the favorite child. Okay? Plus, we don't know what AI tool is going to happen next week, next year, whatever. So the right question to ask is, what business goal do you have right now? Are you trying to expand? I know that other than like everyone's using AI and everyone's talking about using AI, but we're all trying to be like, okay, how do we make sure we're not obsolete? The people who are not going to be obsolete are the ones that are going to be showing value. The people that are going to be showing value are the ones who are brave enough to ask the right questions or to flip it around. Shameless plug, I'm covering this at Summit. Or who are going to flip it around and be like, well, what is the business challenge that we're going to solve for? And we're going to talk about, instead of efficiency gains, because what happens is efficiency gains necessary, not sufficient. If everyone's focused on the here and now and today, which is how are we going to do things that are more efficient, we're basically automating things that we did in a pre-AI world. Is that the right thing to be automating? I don't know. Because once you get that efficiency gain, what do you think is going to happen next quarter? What do you think is going to happen 6 months from now? I've been in marketing. I know how this goes. Right? It's like, well, how are we going to get more efficiency now? It's like, but wait, I just delivered efficiency last 6 months. Yeah, but that was 6 months ago. And we're in a new quarter now. So how are you going to get efficiency gains? So you got to get out of the hamster wheel. We got to get off of this merry-go-round, because efficiency gains is a one-time hit. One-time gain, and that's it. Right? You're done. Well, you got to go back. What are you going to do? So you got to think 10 steps ahead. You got to think 5 steps ahead. You got to think about where we're going in the future, which is, how are we reimagining the process itself? Mm-hmm. How are we reimagining the go-to-market motion itself? And the people, those humans again, the people who are elevating those conversations back to the C-suite, the people that are providing value back up to the C-suite, right? That's a nice way instead of confronting them, but hey, right? The people who are adding value back to the C-suite is like, hey, I'm thinking about not just today, right? Great. Yes, go automate that stuff. I'm thinking about where we need to be tomorrow, and tomorrow is like next week at the pace of AI that's changing. Where we need to be a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now is how our processes work. We still need people. And what's interesting is I've been talking about the Jevons paradox for the last year now.
Nice.
For the last year, I've been talking about this. And for those of you who don't know, who aren't, behavioral economics, or who aren't like obsessed with podcasts or history, Jevons was 1800, observed when coal efficiency happened, right? Not a coal expert. When coal efficiency happened, it's like, oh, look, we're so much more efficient with coal, with the trains and industrial, and this is like where the Industrial Revolution happened, right? Which is, well, we're so much more efficient, then, the demand for coal should go down because it's more efficient. If it's 10x more efficient, the demand should go down. The Jevons paradox states the opposite happened. Because the cost goes down, guess what? Demand goes up. Not demand for the same thing, demand for new things. Because the cost went so much lower. Now, I want you all to ask yourself, with with AI, is everyone feeling like, wow, there's AI is doing everything for me, so I have so much free time, I can just sit here and twiddle my thumbs. How many of you out there feel the exact opposite?
It
Right?
is the opposite. It is absolutely the opposite. It is not freeing up my time and making me think, oh my gosh, wow, there's nothing else to do. No, it's actually adding more work, more thoughtful, more strategic. Would love to hear what you think. And I love that you bring up that example because I think history always comes back and we're seeing it 100%. So I'm with you. And I also think it's going to introduce a new type of worker. I think being a marketer isn't going to look the same anymore. I think good marketers and good employees are going to be well-rounded in so many different functions outside of like the marketing scope. And I think AI is going to allow us to do that.
We ran, as part of the digital strategy group, when I say we, my lovely esteemed colleagues, as part of the digital strategy group here, ran a study around kind of what are the skills? What are the skills that are going to be needed into the future? And I don't remember all five of them off the top of my head, but some of the skills that are going to be needed is resilience,
I like
right?
that. I love
AI,
it.
AI literacy, table stakes. Okay, I mean,
Mhm.
we're all right. Resilience, to be able to say, "Hey, I'm going to take that permission slip. I'm going to fall on my face, and I'm going to learn." Right? Resilience,
I love it.
critical thinking. Right?
Hmm.
Critical thinking, problem solving. Those are human things. Creativity to generate new ideas, and then responsible use.
Mm.
Right? We'll just kind of leave that part there, like what we should do in our relations. Responsible use of AI. Right? So those are five skills that we should be focusing on for the future of AI.
I love that. No, this is so good. And honestly, this is the perfect segue into my next question. So, as you know, and you are too, very involved in the community. I'm talking to so many different marketers, developers, right, who feel as if they're so behind on AI and everyone else is so advanced and they have it figured out. And they're the only ones who haven't, right? But that isn't true, right? I think there's just so much noise right now, right? And so I guess if someone feels behind right now, Jessica, what should they stop doing immediately? And what do you think they should start doing?
I think you should make a new friend in the community. No, I'm gonna I'll segue into I'll give you an anecdote or more of like a history. Maybe not everybody knows who I am, which I don't expect everybody to know who I am. But this community, my 15-year career, the reason why I have this job at Adobe, the reason why I have inbounded every last job I've had five roles. Every last one was inbounded
Wow, that's powerful.
because because of the Adobe community. You don't like roll out of bed one day and be like and have all of this knowledge. I don't like the AI thing. I'm about people in the community know I'm pretty transparent.
I love
I
it. That's
actually
why you're here.
I actually reached out to a friend of mine that I met in this community, in the marketing ops community, many, many, many years ago, previous champion that I've known for 10 years. Right? This is the community. These are the people. And I was like, I'm feeling kind of behind in terms of me programming and being in the thing, right? Like I'm usually like in the tools, as you know, and it's about having accountability with a human and being like, hey, let's just get together and chat. I want to hear what you're doing. I have some ideas. It's just the accountability and sharing of ideas. And you know what's really interesting? That a lot of folks ask, what how is Adobe doing Adobe? Like all the time, right? They always ask,
Yeah.
well, what's Adobe doing inside Adobe? Like, how are we adopting AI? And one of the things that are consistent across all of our internal enablement sessions, our keynotes, like kind of everything, is they ask at Adobe, we ask every person, whether it's an executive or someone on a call, just literally anyone, how are they using AI in their personal life? And I thought that was really interesting because it goes back to practice over perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we hold ourselves like, oh, for work, like, okay, we're doing something with work, which we should do with AI, right? For those use cases. But the learning part doesn't have to start, at work, right? It can be, if it's more easily, more attainable
Mm-hmm.
for us as go-to-market marketers, where here's that permission slip. Challenge yourself to solve something, in your personal life while using AI, right? You know, tinker, learn, play with something, because I guarantee you, when you start, you will learn something. And it's the same mantra that I teach in my yoga class, which is your KPI is to show up. This is my permission slip for you to show up, to try something. And I tell this to my students, which is you have no choice but to get stronger if you show up.
I love that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you kind of view it differently,
Yeah.
right? It's more attainable. It's not so scary. And then I'm also a big believer in community. Obviously, I have my career to thank to
Yeah.
Adobe for that. And community, right? Especially if you feel like you're behind. You're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. Common humanity. You're not alone. We're in it together. And I love the fact, Susan, that literally your whole entire job remit is to build this amazing community, not just for the world, for us as marketers, for us. And it gets back to my love of roots, of community, and we learn from each other and we're not alone. And I think it circles back around to the thing about like, okay, what does go to market look like? What does company, what does it mean? What is your moat? What is your moat as a company in the age of AI? And I've seen it, you've seen it, Adobe's seen it, all the research has seen it, the community, the world, the greater world has seen it. It is brand and it is trust. That
Mm-hmm.
is what we have at the end of the day when everyone is on an even playing field with AI. You have brand and you have trust. And what goes behind, right? What's old is new. Here we go. Remember brand from the 50s? I guess it's 50. I don't know. Like, the days of Mad Men, right? What
Yeah.
did
Oh
brand
my
marketing
God. I haven't heard that in a minute.
right? And if you think about it, this is like what's old is new. What's old is new. We have been here before. It's going to be a little different light. We have been here before. It is about brand, but it's in kind of a new age, this new age of AI. And what does brand look like? But here's a trend that's coming back around: in-person learning. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
going to a professor's class in person. Shocking. You know what else is in for that's related to go to market? Remember the days where we would hire vendors and contractors to handwrite notes?
Yep.
You know what's happening? Remember, I don't know if you saw like at Starbucks, like now they handwrite. I get like
Yes, I no, I did see that. It's so thoughtful. It makes you feel so special.
because it's human.
Yeah.
It's human. So now, as we came out of COVID, now we have online, now we have AI, blah blah blah, all those things. We're human, and human craves community. Humans crave empathy. Humans
Hmm.
crave in real life experiences, which I'm so excited. Who's excited to come to Summit? I'll be there. Who wants to come see me?
Me.
Right? You
Yeah.
cannot replicate. I love Summit. I probably love Summit more than like your average Adobe employee. I love Summit because I get a year's worth of inspiration from Summit. Yes, the sessions are amazing. Don't forget to come to mine. It's about AI Real Talk. So
I
get
love
ready.
it.
But it's about the conversations at Juliet's. It's about the conversations running into people. It's about those like water cooler conversations with people.
I love
And the
it.
companies that can do that and take it up a level and take it to the creativity that has never been before about what that means, that is personalized, that is bespoke, that speaks, to your customers, that builds brand and trust because it's a feeling.
Let me ask you a question, Jessica. How do you build trust?
I build trust through relationship and empathy. So I don't know if you all do Clifton Strings. I'm a big believer into Clifton Strings. I love it. I'm not quite brave enough to post like my entire thing online for all of you to see, but I will tell you that my number one is futuristic, which is why I'm on always all these podcasts. Like, hey, this is where the future's going to be headed. This is where I see it headed. And oh look, 3 years later, it's like, huh, remember when I told you that? Okay. My third one is relator, and that's relationship, which is
Hmm.
I I have built my brand that Adobe has helped me build on a virtual and physical stage on the fact that I am one of you, right? Of the people in the
Yeah.
audience right now, I am one of you. I feel you. I see you. I hear you. I have the battle scars to prove it. And I think that relate to someone, right, which is part of the authenticity, the transparency. I am who I am, right? I am in real life the way I am with you right now. Right? I wear this is me for all the world to see. um
I have to say one thing. I love that you talked about authenticity and empathy. I think you definitely have those two, but I think you're missing one that I see in you. I think the third piece of that is logic. And to me, it's like you put your money where your mouth is and you actually show that through your actions and through your work. And I think that's something really special to add into this question of how do you build trust? And yeah, I mean, I love it. You hit all three buckets, girl.
oh, thanks. I am an operator, right?
Yeah,
I'm a
I
data
can
I'm a
tell.
data person. I'm a data
Yeah.
person. We
Hey,
don't
you're a
have to,
marketer.
and I'm a
Everything.
marketer. I'm a marketer. I've owned analytics teams. I've owned like the tech stack. I've seen all of the data. I've had to support and drive insight into marketing. Everything runs like any most everything in marketing runs through the systems through my systems. I see everything, right? We're really the central glue to an organization, right? The marketing technology team, right? Can you think about something that doesn't run through a system that we don't
Yeah.
gather data for, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're like the little plumbers under the ground, keeping everything to work. And I think when you see all of that and you can elevate. I mean, this goes back to kind of when I started Geek Speak to C-Suite, that whole talk track, that whole like my world tour talking about Geek Speak to C-Suite. When you're able to elevate those conversations about what's really happening down here to like big, bold company problems and company statements, and that's where go to market is, right? Because go to market is more than marketing. Go to market is our go to market strategy. And I think being
Hmm.
able to traverse those layers from down here to up here and seeing around the corner and like what IT needs, what marketing needs, what sales needs, what customer success needs, customer operation, like all of it. Like basically your it's a different definition of the 360 view of everything. Then you know exactly where to focus on and where the problems are. And I think that's where, this is regardless. Like, think about it. This is regardless of technology. Before, after, right? What's old is new. That skill I didn't just, for AI, that's, what I've been doing with technology forever. AI is a piece of technology. What's different is that AI is transforming businesses. AI is more than just a technology tool. So I get a lot of the question, what's my favorite AI tool? No favorite children. No favorite children, right? Because that's not the right question. I mean, I love Adobe. I love Adobe. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
No, I
I can do like anything that I need to do as a marketer is why I bet my career on Adobe because as a customer I could make it rain pipeline from all the clouds.
that's so good. That's
Right?
so good.
Um, I would always bet my career on Adobe and its products because I can turn the dials. And when it came to solving problems for a company, no matter what problem I was thrown, that was the tool set. That was the tool set that I knew that could carry me for whatever problem any go to market, any company would throw me. I knew how to I knew how to make that work.
Yeah. No, I love this, and honestly, your passion for Adobe and the community is just it's very obvious, and it's honestly really refreshing. Like your energy is unmatched. And I think that moves us over to one of my favorite parts of the show. I just get so giddy over this, but as you know, Jessica, community is very important to the both of us. And one thing that's really important about this podcast and this conversation is bringing the community into the conversation. And so we asked marketers who are experimenting with AI to submit questions, and we have some really thoughtful ones. So this question is from Kasper Andersen, CMO and senior partner from Accrease. And his question is, has AI changed what good looks like in B2B marketing, or are we just doing the same things faster? Jessica, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, now that you've listened to the podcast, I think everyone here should know the answer to that question, right? Which is what's old is new. For us at Adobe, our customer is number one, right? We are focused on the customer. Before AI, after AI, and think about it as a company, any company, right? Customer obsession. I mean, I've been in so many companies where our values are customer obsession. That doesn't change, right? That does not change. Second part of the question is like, oh, does it just make us do things faster? Based on this podcast, everyone here should know what my answer is. That's not the right question about doing things faster. It's about, here's your permission slip. I want to give you that permission slip. We should mail him a permission slip. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Let's do
Oh my
it. Oh my
God.
God.
Oh my God. Can you imagine our swag like tied to this podcast of like permission slips?
That's a really good idea. We'll have to send him something.
Okay.
A permission slip, a golden ticket.
Yes. Yes. Okay, anyway. Um, Here's your permission slip to go beyond doing things faster, right? Because if it's doing the same old thing faster, that's incrementally, the low hanging fruit, the low rung, and that's not going to get you to where realizing AI's full potential, which is I think what everyone here that's listening wants to do, right? And it's that permission slip to go reimagine and rethink what that looks like. Just don't do that. That's the low hanging fruit, easy way out. We're better than that, right, Susan? We are better than that. We can
We
do,
are
we are more
preach.
creative. We are better than that. We are more creative. I challenge all of our listeners to think about like what we can reach higher than that. What could we reimagine?
Yeah. No, I love it. And I honestly love that you are telling people these are the questions you should be thinking about. I think it's important. Asking the right questions is hard. I think it's easy, right, to ask simple, just safe questions. And I think it's time to start really digging deeper. Okay, second question from the community is, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounce this name, but Katja Keesom, B2B
Oh, I know,
technology lead. Oh,
Katya.
oh my gosh,
Hi,
yes,
Katya.
from JTF. Okay, his question is, what can companies do to get their current stack ready for AI? In my experience, many customers have significant issues with data hygiene, data completeness, and connecting platforms seamlessly. That means that buying groups completeness and engagement maps are going to be a challenge. How can we prevent platforms like AJO B2B from becoming the next Ferrari that sits in the garage? Ooh.
Ooh, hot take, hot take. Again, community, right? I know Katya because of this community. So kudos again to the community and the community here at Adobe. Um, All right. So this goes back to the principle of AI is garbage in, garbage out, right? That's the same thing, right? So like AI can help in a way that, before things would take manually, but it's still humans that are gonna be like, hey, we are going to have to clean up that data. Clean up. You can't just tell AI, hey, AI, go clean it up. That's not how it works. AI works on context. And where does it get that context? It gets that context from humans. And so, again, it's a skill. It's a skill for us to basically be able to give AI the context of what it is that we want it to do and to be agentic ready. And I think Adobe, we talk a lot about, what does it mean to be agentic ready? And I think she touched on a couple of things, which is yes, the data needs to be in a state where it's organized so that, whatever I really love the concept of like, well, not that I love agentic chaos, but to the point of what I think where this question goes is like, okay, if you're not careful, we're just going to actually create chaos, agentic chaos, faster. Actually, we're just going to create chaos faster than we were doing before when we were like collecting random things and trying to shove them together with no strategy, right? What's old is new. You still have to have a strategy, right? And I think where we can get, and I think almost AI and our need for AI, right? Because AI breaks down the barriers to teams, it breaks down the barriers to systems, it breaks down the barriers for so many things. It goes horizontal. It doesn't care what team you're in. It's bringing things together. If the humans aren't agreeing how you define an account and a buying group, AI isn't going to help fix it. Right? You got to get the humans to align.
That is so true.
Right? So
That,
like, so you got to
that's
get
where you'll see the chaos if the humans are not agreeing.
right. You have that, you have the systems, you have the data. And so I think getting all of that data on one platform and the Adobe on Adobe, how we do it, right? Where, our MarTech team has, on our own, the way that we talk about it is we talk about putting the data closer to the activation of where it needs to be in a platform, right? In our one platform, because then we're all speaking from the same language, we're all speaking from the same book, and it's going to be a combination of other people's models. You're going to build your own model. We have our models, right? It's not going to be a if then or like or statement like do we build, do we buy, do we do this, do we do that, and like all of the things. But that doesn't mean like you go to the grocery store and you buy everything and hope you get a Michelin star meal. You have to choose the right things. You have to choose the right ingredients, and that's I think from go to market, I've been around a lot longer than you think probably. I've been around for a long time, and we've talked a long time. First, it was about data. Oh my God, we need data. It's like now we have all the data. We still can't do the thing, right? We can't do the GTM thing. Now we have all the data. Okay, now we have more data than we know what to do with. Okay, now it's about you got to have all the data in one place. Okay, now we shoved all of the data in one place, and we still can't do the thing. It's like we still need a strategy. We need the data in the place, and for us as go to market, right? We need the data in the place that we're going to activate. And I think, I digress a little bit and kind of like, okay, for an agentic ready platform, it's, where I see a lot of conversations and companies, the alignment part going sideways because I see a lot of companies like debating, healthy debating on like, well, where should this single source of truth go? And I'm like, there isn't a single source of truth, like one ring to rule them all, or whatever the saying is. Because we all have different purposes in the company. And so it's like the single source of truth for this purpose, for me, may be different for the single source of truth for some other part of the organization. And so the humans trying to get aligned. And so I think we got to focus on, hey, what's the thing that we're trying to solve for? If we're trying to solve for go-to-market, there is a single source of truth for the go-to-market motion. Here, other parts of the company, right? And so it's like do we like chocolate or vanilla? Well, these people like chocolate and these people like vanilla. And like, oh, there's a right or wrong. I'm like, no, there's not. Right? And I think getting us to all use the right words together, the amount of conversations that I have seen where like one group is speaking German, one person speaking French, and they're just like going like this at each other. Like, I'm like, you all aren't speaking the same language. You're all like, what I mean? There's a miss.
Yeah.
Fix that.
You're right. And this is so it's almost like people need to hear this, right? Because to your point, it's this chaos and it's this noise, and we're all scrambling and running and thinking it can fix everything. But to your point, no, the humans are the ultimate decision makers, right? Um, I love your take, Jessica, and I have to, before we get into our rapid fire, which is the end of the podcast, but before we get to that, I have to ask one spicy question. And it's something that keeps coming up, and there's like a whole debate on X about it, and I really want to know what you think. Do you actually believe we're heading toward fully autonomous marketing in the next 6 to 12 months? And the reason I'm asking you this is because there's all this agentic talk, right? And we're seeing agents that, but people still don't trust them. So that reminds me of Waymo versus Uber. Both, humans are taking Waymo and Uber. But at the end of the day, if we look at stats, there's so many more humans taking Uber, right? So I'd love to know, are we closer than people think? Is human judgment becoming more important, not less? Like, where do you land?
Well, first off, okay, Waymo or Uber?
Uber, just because I live in New York and I don't have access to
Yeah.
Waymo, so I don't have an option.
Oh, it's not a fair question then. Okay. I'm still on Team Uber
Your team
because
Uber? Oh, okay.
Waymo is just landed in our, like, and they just got, I think they can just go on the highway now. And I'm like, I'm not quite ready. I mean, usually I'm an early adopter, but like not, I'm a cautiously optimistic early adopter being here in the Bay Area. Um,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just not quite ready yet.
You're not ready. That's okay.
I'm cautiously optimistic watching all the Waymos on the road. But I also am in San Francisco where the power went out and all the Waymos like got confused and they like stalled traffic in San Francisco because they didn't know what to do, and then they got stuck and they didn't move. And so what if I was stuck in a Waymo because it didn't know what to do? It's like for me, and then it's just funny because my friend is like, you need to take Waymo, it's cheaper. I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm good right now. I'm good. Do I believe, right? Personal opinion, disclaimer.
Yeah.
Here's my personal opinion for automated marketing. Here we go. 6 to 12 months? No. Here's my question back to the audience. It's like, are you ready to hand over, right? Because there's different types of decisions too, right?
Hmm.
There's like, am I going to buy this new pair of shoes and I'm going to let, right, the risk reward part? Am I going to bet my career, right? And I'm just gonna let AI make $1 million decision to go like buy whatever the thing I need autonomously and do the RFP and have my agent talk to your agent like in 6 months. Are you willing to bet your job over that and not potentially get fired if we're making the wrong decision? That's a hard no for me because with right, I mean like yeah.
No, that's okay. And this is what we need. Okay, let's end with some rapid fire. So, Jessica, quick questions, quick answers, whatever comes to mind first. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Biggest source of AI chaos you've seen: people, process, tooling.
People. No, wait, hold on. Tools.
Okay.
All of them.
First first thing you'd fix in an AI chaos org: data, skills, governance, or org design.
Governance.
One signal an organization is ready for AI: leadership buy-in, clean data, or clear use cases.
Clear use cases. Easy. That was an easy one.
Amazing. Okay, Jessica, this was so insightful. I love your energy. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, how you're thinking about AI, how you're thinking about go-to-market, marketing, being a yoga instructor, Team Uber. How can people reach you or be helpful to you?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. And you can find me at Summit, where I'll be giving actually two talks, but one main talk is going to be on AI Real Talk. So hit me up on LinkedIn, and I will see you in Vegas.
We'll see you in Vegas. Thank you so much, Jessica. And to everyone listening, remember, AI is not here to replace our thinking, it's here to expand it. The real magic still comes from human curiosity, creativity, and perspective. Thank you for joining us for Thinking with AI. We'll see you next time.